Now, number one on my list is going to be the touchscreens and all the little weird touchscreen buttons. I can't stand this. I'm somebody who likes to not look at what I'm doing while I'm driving. So if I need to go and do something like adjust temperature for the AC, turn down my music, shift the vehicle, anything like that, I'd rather not have a touchscreen button. I actually like to memorize where things are and be able to just push it blindly. When you have little touchscreen buttons, you actually can't tell if you actually did anything. There's no tactile click and it's super annoying just trying to reach for it. And then all the screens, I have what you call astigmatisms. And if you don't know what that is, it pretty much makes light go from looking like this to looking like this. I'm trying to drive, especially at night, all the extra light is actually flooding my vision and it's really tiring. I actually can't stand it for too long. And really we got to talk about necessity. Is this really needed? Do we really need all these screens? I mean, the analog gauges I thought were perfect. They're backlit, they're soft on the eyes, you can see everything clearly that you need to see. You really don't need everything to be screaming information at you all the time. I mean, it's not necessary for the vehicle to run. It's all just extra. It's extra, and then manufacturers go and they charge so much more for it when really I'd wish that we could just go back to what we had. With that being said, let's go on to number two. And number two is real cringy, and that's going to be engine noise in electric vehicles. What is even that? I actually have a couple examples here. We'll just start off with a short reaction to BMW.
Sound defines personality. It adds emotion and depth to a character.
Emotion and depth.
Sound underlines the soul of anything. And right now, we're at a really exciting point, shaping the sound of the future. Sound of electric.
Okay, you know, that video is kind of exciting. You know, you'd think, oh, this is going to be something amazing. Maybe it makes a lot of sense. And then here's a video of what it actually looks like on the road. Exciting. Wow. You know, it accelerated reasonably quick. I can't really be too mad at that. But could you imagine choosing this over a naturally aspirated V8? I mean, does that even make sense? What are we even doing here? This is the most tacky thing I've ever seen. And then let's check out this one by Dodge. This is terrible. We're trying to actually replace, I shouldn't say replace because this is never going to replace it, but we're trying to substitute the sound of a V8 in an electronic Challenger. Wow. I mean, maybe it's somebody's cup of tea. It's certainly not mine. I can't stand it. I think it's the most tacky thing that a manufacturer can do. If you're going to go electric, just accept the fact it's going to be quiet. I mean, these are never going to compete with really anything. I'd rather you listen to a four-cylinder over that, to be honest. I cannot stand it. You're trying to take these vehicles and turn them into something that they're not. And the whole point of having them be electric is that they're not supposed to be internal combustion engines. So why are we trying so hard to make it mimic a internal combustion engine? It's just not. It's not ever going to be one. It makes no sense. Let's go ahead and move on to number three.
And this one grinds my gears.
We're going to be talking about fake taillights. This is something that many manufacturers have done, specifically Hyundai, Kia. I've seen a Buick. Why are we even doing this? I mean, you're driving behind a vehicle and you're in traffic, right? And then you see this Buick up ahead of you. And you're thinking, okay, I like this car. Looks decent in the back. It's not too bad. You know, it's got some round features. Nothing crazy. And then they break. And what you realize is the lights that you'd expect to come on don't come on. It's on the lower bumper. What sense does that make? Why would you make a whole taillight housing just to use lights on the lower bumper? I mean, come on. I've did some reading and I saw that maybe there's something to do with your taillights need to be visible even when the trunk is open and all that stuff. Cool. I think where they were would have worked just fine. I really do. It makes no sense, especially in traffic. If you're looking for that visual cue of the lights coming on, the brake lights or the turn signals, because there's no bulbs, no turn signal, no reverse light, none of that. None of that happens in those fake housings. That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, come on, guys. Who's asking for this? And once you realize that it's a fake taillight housing, it really just ruins the whole entire car for you. Like, I would not buy this car for that reason. It's so tacky. I mean, what are we doing? Number 4, overutilizing LEDs. And I'm talking about these big old LED strips, right? So like Ford screams to me when you were thinking of like the big old Ford trucks, the F-250s, F-350s, and they have the big old little punctuation mark looking things. Why? We don't need that. We also don't need, say, Cadillac with their long strip taillights and all that stuff. Do we know how much that costs? Like, it's so unnecessary. The old housings were just fine. So we're going from 2 separate issues, from having not enough usable housing to having way too much. You can get replacement housings for about $1,000. Why do we need them to be $1,000? That's so unnecessary. Keep it simple, keep it stupid. That's engineering. Engineering 101. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what we need more of. We don't need all this extra bull crap. It's super unnecessary. It's super annoying. And it's more stuff happening. It's more stuff happening on the street. And in a world where we have too many distractions, we don't need your vehicle to be another one. Sometimes it's tasteful, but most of the times it's not. And it's like every single year, those light strips just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we don't need that. We really don't. And then when one of those bulbs goes out, it just looks weird. Or imagine like one whole strip comes out. Then it looks weird too, but it's not an essential light. So a lot of people don't even do anything about it. And then when you do decide you want to do something about it, then you're suddenly disheartened because why would I spend that much money to fix that problem? It doesn't prevent the vehicle from working. You're not going to get a ticket for not fixing it, but it just looks weird. And you know it looks weird, so you're just driving around looking goofy. Why? We don't need that. Number 5, overuse of plastics. And this is specifically in the engine bays. I can't stand it. I mean, have you ever opened up the hood of something like a Lexus? Every single square inch of that engine bay is just covered in plastic. For what? I mean, you have the plastic engine cover, you have the plastics going all around it. I mean, you're talking about a vehicle and they're like, oh, what size engine does it have? What's the engine look like? You open up the hood and it's just a giant plastic, everything plastic. Like, I don't even have a word for this. It's just a giant chunk of plastic. It's like, oh, cool. You know, I'm glad that my engine is made entirely of plastic. You'd think that maybe if we're talking about the cost aspect of vehicles where people aren't wanting to buy as much, maybe knock out the little stuff that doesn't matter. And I'd say that plastics in the engine bay doesn't really matter. Sure, it might be a little bit of sound deadening, or you can argue it makes things fit better, but in my experience, it's just in the way. It's more stuff to do. Anytime you need to maintain your vehicle, you have to take off all that stuff so you can reach anything. So it increases your labor time. So working on the vehicle is more expensive to the customer. You have to replace the plastic clips that hold in the little plastic pieces together because they only can be taken off and put on so many times before they start breaking. It's just more of a pain in the butt than it's worth. It's just one of those things where, me personally, I like to see the engine. I like to look at it and see what's going on, see all the moving parts. But, you know, I guess that's just not the way to go with the manufacturer. And then outside of that, valve covers are plastic. All your evap hosing. I'm trying to think about what's not plastic. I mean, really, I'm sure if they could make the whole entire engine out of some sort of plastic, they would have by now. It just doesn't stand up well. Thermostat housings are plastic. You got tons of plastic in your radiators, oil coolers. Man, it's just what's not plastic anymore. Oil filter housings. And what you'll realize is after so many heat cycles, all of these things leak. What are we doing? Who's it benefiting? And really, when you go down the line and you look at all the things that they're doing, A lot of this stuff is just trying to save the manufacturer costs, and it pushes it over to the customer. They're creating issues by trying to solve issues, and it just makes no sense. Why do we need all that? We just don't. And this is something that I could go on and on and on about, but I'm going to choose not to. It really just gets me frustrated, and if you have anything that really bothers you about new cars, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and finish it here. I'll see you guys later.